from the third dimension.
3D Newsbite.
Welcome to a new 3D Newsbite podcast. I'm Adolph. I have Jake with me.
Howdy.
And this Newsbite, we're going to talk about a delay. Disney has delayed Mulan out of July into August. So this is the second big delay. It was originally going to come out March 27th. Then it got pushed to July. And now it's officially going to be August 21st.
Yes, still an amateur. New Mutants has had 6 changes of date. So Mulan is just a mere Padawan in this date-jumping saga.
So, yeah. All right, I guess the obvious question is, do you think it's going to hold it?
Nope.
Okay, second question. Do you think we're going to see it this year?
I think they're going to be dumb enough to try when the second peak of the first wave finally kind of slows down, and might be in the fall. They'll probably try one more time to desperately re-jump the world, and then it's going to all come crashing down around our shoulders. So I would say it's 50-50. Is anybody going to go to theaters to see it? I doubt it, because the type of people that would be foolish enough to go are too busy screaming at us on street corners.
So, okay, here's an interesting kind of thought process here with Mulan. I don't think Disney wants to put this up on... I don't think Disney wants to put up any movie unless they absolutely have to on Disney Plus. Because they know it as much as we know it. When you do that, people kind of see it in a negative light. You know, it's direct to video instead of a theatrical run, and it looks bad. And you know, this was supposed to be a big movie, but it has, you know, it's defeating. It eats your soul to, you know, not have it in a big theatrical release. But it is what it is.
Well, it shouldn't, but because I mean, Hamilton going to Disney Plus might actually get me to actually pony up some money to see stuff on Disney Plus. But to me, it's a 3D. Disney Plus doesn't offer 3D for home viewers. I don't blame them. It's not. It's kind of a really big learning curve to present stuff, especially streaming. And I'm just afraid 3D may not recover from this.
Yeah, that's been my fear. That basically, even if the theaters get restarted, it's going to be a matter of will it be in 3D? I don't know. It's been, you know, so. It's going back to when the release date is. We're recording this on June 28th. Next week is the 4th of July, national holiday in America. Me and Jake are Americans, or Jake and I. And a lot of people tend to get together on the 4th of July, just like Memorial Day. And I remember reading or hearing about a connection between holidays and people getting, you know, coronavirus. People want to be together for those days. So I wouldn't you know, right now we're getting a big second peak in many different states in the U.S. I wouldn't imagine that it would be much worse. You know, maybe things will change. Maybe people will get smarter. But I think it's safe to assume that we're going to get even more people because people want to go out for 4th of July. I have basically canceled my plans. I don't know about you, Jake.
I just figure... 2020 is a wash. So, I was hoping for Halloween, but I figure unless I go out in a hazmat suit, it ain't happening.
Yeah, I mean, Halloween's going to be weird because who's going to want to trick or treat and have strangers come to your house potentially with disease? And, you know.
and you don't have to do anything to decorate. It's already scary.
I mean, I guess they would be wearing masks, but still.
Yeah. And then who's going to want candy?
And so, yeah, Mulan being delayed again due to the pandemic. I kind of think you're right. It's going to be a wash. And either, I, I don't think Disney has a plan for like $25 rentals or $20 rentals, like Warner Brothers or, like how they did it for Trolls either. So it's just, I guess Disney Plus or nothing. And
Well, I think they're really trying to build a relationship with China with theatrical distribution and other partnerships. So I think that's the main reason they would sit on Mulan and wait. Uh, they've already had things blow up in their face by doing things. I just think of that horrible deal they made with China that one of Leslie Chung's best movies is almost unseen because of it. It's a story for another podcast. But I think Disney is going to sit on Mulan. If they've got to wait 10 years, which this won't, trust me, the world will really end if this goes on for 10 years. There ain't no way we would survive. We just aren't that... there's not enough of us that patient to deal with this. But I digress. I think they'll sit on it as long as it takes to get a theatrical and possibly 3D, maybe. But I think they may give that money up too. I think they're just going to be happy to get it in a drive-in pretty soon.
Now, I'm not 100% correct on this. I'm not, but I'm going to just I've heard a lot of things about China actually getting a second wave, where we're still in a new peak of the first wave, where they actually did calm down to almost zero, and now more people are getting infected again. Is that correct, Jake, or did you hear something similar?
Yeah. There is a bit of a shutdown in news. What else is new? So they're having to rethink their reopening plans. They've had several stops and starts because it seems like parts of the world have just pretty much given up. I mean, I'm hearing airlines are talking about they're going to start flying at full capacity. That's going to be the super spreader. I mean, in 1918, one of the things that kept it down to the millions that died was the lack of global travel, except for the war. And we travel like that on a daily basis in this world.
And being honest, China is not well known for being completely transparent with their data. So it wouldn't be surprised if they're lying with the numbers and things are much worse.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. You're absolutely 100% correct. They do not always tell the truth.
If that gets us banned in China, I don't care. That's the truth.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't think governments have to be 100% transparent because they can't protect their citizenry, but it's not. But I feel China is too secretive with their citizens and treat them too much like children.
So I think, obviously Mulan will probably release there first. And if it's not, I don't see any steps with this releasing there first. Who knows? I think this might be the first time, Jake, in probably over 10 years where we haven't had a 3D movie released in May, June, or July. The summer. That's crazy,
This is insane.
All right, Jake. That's going to be it for this quick little podcast about Mulan's delay. We'll try to keep you, try to do these shorter podcasts just to keep things as up to date as possible. Bye.
Bye.
Before this podcast wraps up, I want to thank my patrons. Thank you, Kano3D and Mr. Bengal 5 for your financial support on patreon.com. So that's going to be it for this podcast. Thanks for listening. You can find 3D or 2D on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, and more. Just look for 3D or 2D. Links are in the info box. If you want to send us listener mail, our email address is email3d or2d@gmail.com. Thank you for either listening or watching this podcast. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.